Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Feeding the Curious Mind. My name's John Pullen and I'm an author of fiction and non-fiction books. If you've seen the title to this, you may wish to, if you don't get it, you may wish to substitute words like horse dung or manure. We're going to go back to the Victorian era. Now, during this period, the poor were very, very poor, and children were at the bottom of the pile. So, the roads and streets of London, like many other towns and cities around, were uncared for. And if we think about that, the main form of transport was walking, but the second was horseback or carriages, if you were richer, being pulled by horses, you may begin to think that the streets were not that clean. You'd be right. In fact, they were so dirty, you literally couldn't cross the streets. Now, poor people will find any way to make money, especially if other people shun the jobs. So, crossing sweepers became known. These were people who had low overheads. All they needed was a broom and a strong constitution. They would choose an area and they would use their broom and cross from one side of the street to the other and produce a relatively clean pathway for other members of the public to use. And if they were lucky, then they might earn a farthing or even as much as a penny for all the work they were doing. This was a full-time job, 7 days a week. Apparently, horses have no control over their bowel movements. And although you may think that people looked down on them, and I'm sure many did, I'd like to give you a quick story about one such sweeper. He was a black man from the West Indies. He arrived at the first years of the 19th century, the early 1800s. His name was Charles McGee, but he was also known as Brutus Billy. Please don't ask me why, I don't know. However, he chose an area just down from St. Paul's Cathedral, Ludgate Hill, where it meets Fleet Street. It was a very busy intersection. It's still there today and it's still very busy, but hopefully a bit cleaner, I hope. And he chose his area would be outside a draper's shop at the top of Fleet Street. This draper's shop was owned by a Mr. Robert Waitman, who later became Member of Parliament for the City of London. But he had a daughter, and she would look out of her upstairs window and see Mr. McGee working 7 days a week, all day, sweeping and keeping clean this one area in front of the shop. She felt sorry for him. He worked in every type of weather, and when it was very cold, she would often bring him out a bowl of soup and some bread to keep him warm. Eventually, he died, and in his will, he left all that he had to the daughter. The surprising thing was that even though you only earned the occasional penny or farthing, he had over £700 to his name, and that today would be worth about £120,000. So, not a great job, but you could earn a fair amount of money.